Hey guys, so this is the first time that we've pulled our valve to access our wet bay for a couple of reasons. One, we're having trouble with our gray tank valve. The automatic valve is not opening. I did some research on it, and it looks like potentially it could be a simple fix. It looks like the ring that physically pulls the valve open and closed could have slipped off, and people suggest you use twist ties to tie that down. So we're going to see if that's our problem. And the second thing we want to do is install our water sensor that we ordered additional with our Crosse weather station. And we're going to talk more about the Crosse weather station. But one of the main reasons we went with that weather station is the ability to add these water sensors. Not only does it tell you if you have a leak in your wet bay, but it also tells you the temperature and humidity inside your wet bay and transmits it directly to your weather station. After taking the wall off, we discovered a bonus from the Vanleigh factory. This really wonderful little LED work light and stand was right here behind the bay when I pulled the wall off. So let's see if the thing actually still works. I probably shouldn't point it right at the camera, but
oh, thanks, Vanleigh.
look at that. It's still charged up. It's got a USB charge on the back here, and it still has a charge on it. So thanks, Vanleigh. I'm actually going to use this right now to diagnose this problem. So here's our black tank, and this little ring right here is what holds the valve and opens and closes it automatically. And sure enough, back there is our gray tank. And look at there, right there is the little ring that helps pull open and closed the gray valve. So thank you, Internet and the Vanleigh Owners Board on Facebook. You said that is the most common problem, and sure enough, there it is right there. It's popped off, and that is our problem. So our fix there is just a couple of zip ties to hold it down, and we'll be back in action. Hey guys, just as a side note to my gray valve repair, I don't know if you noticed in that video, but that gray valve was actually popped off in the open position, which could potentially have created a bigger mess for us if it wasn't for this. The extra Valterra valve that we have on the end of our sewer line. It acts as kind of a secondary defense if you have any sewer issues. So we highly recommend having this. It will potentially protect you from any poop issues. Your results may vary, not guaranteed, but we were glad we had it when we had an issue with our gray valve stuck in the open position. So we solved our issue with our automatic gray valve opening and closing. A simple loop connection, popped off, held it down with a twist tie. We did it to the black tank as well, so we should have no issues going down the road further with those things. While we were there, I also sprayed some lube on the gears in there, so just make sure you do that whenever you have a chance. So now we want to place our water sensor. We could place it right here behind our wet bay, but what I actually want to do is I want to place it back under there where all those water valves come together, because most likely that's where a leak's going to start. And our Truma hot water heater is right there. So I would feel we could place it right here, which would be the kind of the first spot to place it. But I really want to place it back there where all those connections are happening, because we'll be detected of a leak much quicker. So you can see here, there's the bottom. And getting back there is going to be probably the toughest part. All right, there was a great little spot right there around all those different pipes and connections right there. So there is our water sensor. That's our Truma hot water heater right there. So there it is in place. So we've had and been using the weather station for about 2 weeks now, and I guess I was looking for a reason other than the water sensor to have to go behind the wet bay to install the water sensor. And so the gray tank automatic valve popping open on us was the perfect excuse to get behind the wet bay and make that repair and get that water sensor in a place exactly where I wanted it. Now, there are a ton of different weather stations out there, and the sole reason that we ended up going with the Crosse system is because of the ability to add the extra sensors, more specifically that water sensor. Now right now we only have the one sensor, and we have that up in the front wet bay, but because we have a rear kitchen model with our Vanleigh fifth wheel, we plan on putting another water sensor, and I believe you can put up to 4 water sensors, and I'll double check that on the website, but I believe you can put up to 4 water sensors on an individual display unit. Now what's interesting is the sensor What's interesting is the sensors are compatible with almost all of the La Crosse weather stations, but there are only certain models that will display the information from the water sensors or any additional sensors that you add on the display unit itself. All of the other models will display it on the La Crosse weather app. So you can either have it display on the app, or certain models will display on the base unit. And we opted for, obviously they're more expensive, but one of the base units that displayed the sensor data directly. What's really exciting is one of the other sensors they have available for the La Crosse weather station is a barbecue sensor. And it comes with not just one, but 2 temperature probes, so you can temp your meat and you can also temp the interior of your grill. That will also display directly on the weather station. That might have been another reason I chose the La Crosse system. So I'm in the process of narrowing down what smoker I'm going to get. That's got to be small, portable to carry in the fifth wheel, but then that's going to be a great addition to the weather system and have the ability to look at both the internal temperature of my meat and the internal temperature of the grill all on the weather station. So let's go have a look at the screen and then the sensors that are available for the weather station. So here's the main screen of the La Crosse V61 weather station, and you can see there's a lot of data on here, which is kind of fun and interesting if you're a data geek like Victoria and I are. But let's break it down into quadrants and show you exactly what this weather station is telling you. Right in the center of the screen is the forecast section, which will give you hourly forecast and daily forecast. The weather station is hooked via the internet to AccuWeather, so you're getting forecast direct from AccuWeather. Up in the top right is the outdoor temperature and humidity. And just below that is your rainfall sensor. And in the lower left is that water leak sensor that we placed a little bit earlier, and you can see it's currently 68 degrees and dry in the wet bay. And down lower left is your wind direction and speed indicator. And up in the top left is the indoor temperature sensor and humidity. And we have an additional sensor which tells us not only the temperature in the main room, but we also have that set up in the master bedroom as well. So we have a separate sensor for indoor temp and humidity in a separate area, and you can add up to 4 of those, I believe. And here is the main wind speed, wind direction, temperature, and humidity sensor for the weather station. And because every campground we visit is a little bit different, I wanted to have a mobile setup rather than a permanent mount somewhere, either on the fifth wheel or on a permanent post. So what I did was I built my own stand, and you can see there, I started with just a simple cheap plastic umbrella holder that you could get at Walmart. I think that was around $12. I've got 2 sections of PVC pipe that I've glued together with a coupler, and the bottom pipe is a 1.25 inch PVC pipe to fit the umbrella holder. The top one is a 3/4 inch, so it fit the sensor. And then I spray painted the whole thing black to match the base. So there's what the whole thing looks like, and we're able to move this around anywhere in our site so we can get accurate wind reading measurements. And that base right there fills with water to hold it down, so it is pretty resistant to strong winds. And then when we move, the whole thing just breaks down, and I empty the water out of the base, and we're on to the next campground. And here is the rain gauge. You can see it's a standalone unit. We keep it on our picnic table, and we move it around to various locations so it has open access to the sky so we can get some accurate rain reading. Here is the secondary temperature humidity sensor that we added in the master bedroom. We went ahead and mounted it to the wall because it has an LCD screen on it, so we can always see what the temperature is in the master bedroom. So there you have it, a quick tour of the La Crosse V61 weather station with leak detection, which is why we feel this unit is the #1 unit for RVers because of the leak detection. Now, this is not a sponsored post. We are not connected with La Crosse in any way. We just love the fact that they have the water sensor feature to be able to attach to it. Now, there are other ways that you can get leak detection for your RV. The Ring alarm system has the ability to have a leak detector, and there are some standalone units that you can get as well. But because we were looking for a weather station, we thought this was a great tie-in to have the leak detection right on the weather station, which we are looking at multiple times per day anyway. Well, that's all for now, guys. Thanks so much for watching. We'll put links down below to both the Crosse website, the weather station we have, the extra sensors, all of that will be available. There are some units that are available on Amazon, but our unit was not on Amazon and we ordered it from the Crosse website directly. Again, these units are not cheap, but I think it is the safety factor and having that leak detection available that makes it all worth it. So if you like this video, be sure and give us a thumbs up. It helps us tremendously. Be sure and check out our website, GF Explorers, for all of our other RV living as well as cooking videos. And don't forget to subscribe to our channel if you like our content. And until next time, happy exploring.